Darius Carter. How are you, sir? I mean, you don't really need an introduction.
I I feel as good as I look. I look as good as I feel, and it's great to be here. I appreciate you having me, and I also appreciate you understanding the magnitude of my presence. We don't need an introduction. We know who I am. We know what I do.
I
You know,
mean, we have history, Darius. Carter family.
we do.
History, so I get it. I understand you. And I'm honored to be here with you, albeit it's virtual, but we're doing the best that we can. So I'm just going to go right into things. How have you been in this pandemic?
I've been, full steam ahead, moving forward. And I had just tweeted about it. I said, a lot of my hustle is in silence per se because I don't scream about it. I don't sit here and preach about what I'm doing and the moves that I'm making. I just make the moves and let the results add up. I mean, that's what you get told early on in your career. You get told that at certain points in your career, like, hey, man, like, produce results and such and such will happen. And I've had that conversation with people, years back. And, by the grace of all things, and now here I am, 2020, a pandemic that hit in the first quarter of the year. We're talking March, to have turned that into the best, uh, really the best year of my career in the sense of accomplishment, in the sense of recognition. You know what I mean? Obviously, I didn't get to do wrestle as much as I wanted to, and my plans kind of got turned on their head. But I was able to flip it around and get into PWI and get into the top black wrestlers, the top 500 black wrestlers, male, female, whatever, in the world. And that's tremendous, and it's great to see that all paying off. It's very rewarding, you know.
Indeed. And let's talk about PWI. First of all, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
a huge, amazing accomplishment. And I'm going to say number 337. I don't
Yes,
particularly want to count the number,
that's it. But
but
yes,
it is what it is.
yeah.
Where were you when you heard about this, when you heard that you made the list?
I was. Where was I? I was. Oh, I was out with. I was actually out in a club type setting. Good or bad. I don't go out often. But I was just in a particular mode of celebration. It was a good day, and work had been going very well with marketing and stocks. Obviously, all that's been affected by the pandemic, and it was just a good day. So it was one of the very few times that I was actually out in that type of venue or type of event. And then I get the text message. Funny enough, I got it from Baron Black. I got to give him his credit.
Oh, wow.
Baron Black, who's AEW Dark, he's been on there doing some things. And like I said, it's good to see your friends succeed. It really is. And people are so bitter and jealous these days. They can't see somebody get ahead. And I congratulate people. Like, I'm happy to. Like, I like to see these good people succeed. There's not the most there's not a tremendously high count of good people in professional wrestling. So the ones that you do get, you hold on to one way or the other. And Baron's a great guy. He's always been, like a brother in a way. He's always been a great dude. And he actually had messaged it to me, and I was like, oh, I was like, it was funny that I was in a club environment because I was like, oh, like I got to say, oh, like it really, it words can't express how much that means. From all the things that I've heard over the years and all the people that have tried to throw dirt on me and kick dirt in my face and desecrate my name and just don't want you to succeed and just pray bad things on you. To for this to have happened for me to see my name there, oh, it's like that feeling is you can't you can't just put that into words. It's like love. It's like those things. It's just it's real. It's there. You can't touch it. You can't feel it, but it's so real. And to see that was tremendous, and I actually ordered two. I framed it, so
Oh, you
yeah, one for
have
keeps
to.
and one to frame. So
Where are they? Are they just sitting? Do you have them in a case somewhere encrusted in diamonds? Or are they in a slipcase?
I I have one. I actually this is how you know me. You know me well enough. I do have one in a case, and it is a nice case. But I have one there, and then I have the other one framed. So I mean that means so much to me. It's not just a number. It's not just something to brag about for retweets and likes. It really affected my heart and touched my soul to see my name there ranked with the top 500 wrestlers in the world. We're talking with people that are on TV, people that have traveled the world, people that have won world championships. We're talking about John Moxley being number one. I was in the same category of wrestlers, 500. I was 336 steps away from John Moxley. I mean, say what you want. And again, the number is, you could say it could be higher, this or that. But like the point that I'm making is that I ranked in the world, and I feel that vindication. We need that. You know what I mean? We need that as performers. You need that for yourself. These are things that we need to not to fall back on, but to look back on and smile. And we have to. We're so busy moving forward. We also have to stop and appreciate the things that we've accomplished. And this is something I'll never forget. I'll never forget the first year that I ranked, and ranked at a high number at that. That's really just astounding to me.
Hmm. Out of everyone on that list, who do you look up to?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I don't want to say if I know I looked up to anyone on the list, because there's certain things about certain people that I like, and that I respect. You know what I mean? Guys like O'Shea Edwards, seeing him on that list brought a smile to my face. Seeing guys like KTB, Kyle the Beast, who I've had one match with, and I really enjoyed it, but I know we could have done so much more and we could have done so much better. It's just one of those situations where you have your match, you're like, okay, like that was good, but I know that we can wreck shop, as the kids would say. So seeing him on the list was great. Killian McMurphy, seeing him make it, that's someone to me that's very underrated, and very overlooked in an oversaturated business in a sense. He's been doing great. So I was happy to see him there. I saw a lot of people on there. That's the thing too about like the PWIs. I actually liked the people that were on it. Like I could tell that they revamped their style. They weren't just going for popular people. They weren't just going for the easy ones, because it kind of got a little dry over the past few years. Some could say the PWI. This year they really brought inclusion. This year they really put their necks out for different calibers of wrestlers and different breeds of wrestlers and gender and creed and nationality. And it was just it was what a PWI should look like. That it should look more like that. Still Life of Apricots and Pears was on there. Like this is what I mean. Such good, true, honest talent. It was great. Anthony Bowens as well, who I did the best of 5 series with. So I was so glad I got to do that. That was my idea, and I know you were there for that.
Yes.
With the Carter Group, which you're
Mhm.
still technically in.
Oh, I'm
So wink,
still in
wink.
awe. I'm
Oh,
honored.
oh
I'm
yeah, oh yeah. You're
like
still,
on hiatus.
yeah, right. You're on a sabbatical.
Right, exactly. I like that. That's
That,
actually correct.
that's it. They're like, oh, where's Candace? She's on vacation. She's been in Punta Cana. She's been. Don't worry about that. She's moving around, making moves
You already
for the
know.
Carter Group. So,
You already know. On the yacht. Exactly.
oh,
And so why not?
say less. You
Living
already
hard,
know.
but I love that you mentioned those names, Anthony Bowens, Killian McMurphy, and personally, I mean, you're an 11-year vet, so you've been in this business for much longer than I have. But I feel that I came up in a time, and this was what, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and it's astounding the talent that I am privileged to know and that I was privileged to work with. and seeing your name and their name on the PWI 500 and seeing them on television and seeing that you guys are still having these amazing matches, given the odds that we're in right now, it's extremely inspiring. Being someone that's been in this business for so long, have you ever felt at a time where you thought to yourself, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I think this is just beating me down too much to bear.
Yeah, and that's a good question because I mean I've been doing this for 11 years now, which is kind of crazy to say, and I find myself being asked more these days. So now I'm answering it more. I guess it's showing in my work, the veteranship, and then I have to think about it like, wow, like I really am. And when people call me a veteran, like I always, I'm like, all right, great, thanks, but I never am like waving the flag of veteranship. You know, I just want that to be shown in my work. I want people to know that I'm been doing it a while without me having to tell you. You know, I want to look like a vet without having to tell you I'm a vet. And someone was telling me the other day, they called me in my DMs. They were like, "You're a venerable veteran," and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "That's interesting." I don't know if that's something I'd call myself because again, I don't want to call myself a veteran, but a venerable veteran. You know, a veteran that is to be held in high esteem, to be not just respected but revered. And I was like, all right, like that's a nice thing. It's much better than what some people had to say about me 3, 4 years ago.
Oh, what were they saying to you
So
3 years ago?
oh Lord, I've it's been an uphill thing. And that goes into your question of you know, was there ever a time where I wanted to hang it up? And the answer is definitely no. I mean, I always knew that I was going to do this. I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. I knew that I was going to have some enemies because I did come in, um, you know, with a type of acumen to myself. I did have a natural talent. You know, and that is intimidating to people when you see someone, you're like, oh, like that person can get up, can jump, and this person can run the ropes, and this person can move. He's just naturally has it, and I've been blessed with that. And I was able to harness that and hone that over the years. But it was definitely like a natural, pure, definitely untapped type of talent I had. I think it intimidated some people. I still think that intimidates people now. I think it's easy for people to try and put me in a box and just be like, yeah, let's throw him in there. That's where he is, so that you don't have to think about me. And that's what I think I've kind of found myself at in my career now. I feel, you know, I'm at that point where my performances are showing beyond anything else, and now it's like, you know, well, where do I go? Which place can I go to? Which place do I fit in best at? You know, there's a lot that goes into that. You don't just jump for the first place that offers you something. You have to kind of maneuver your way through because ultimately I want to succeed in my way, my own way. I don't want to feel like I had to sell myself like so many people do or have done. I don't want to have to sell myself short to get that quick fame. I don't want to have to sign anything just because I want to show up on TV. Like you have to be smart. You know, you have to get around. And I look to people like Mercedes Martinez, who was able to, you know, go to a WWE and then, oh well, look, she's on AEW, and oh look, she's on, you know, that type of mentality, it can be done. Killer Kelly is doing that now. Kudos to her with the Impact, and she was in the Mae Young Classic. Deonna Purrazzo, you know, and listen, if I keep saying women's names, then I guess women are doing it right because that's a really good way to get around. And all I'm saying is, my goal is to build myself to the point where I can do that and I can have those choices and options, and then make the best choice for me. I have to go through a lot more than other people because I'm up against a lot more than other people.
Mhm.
But that perseverance has always been a defining trait of who I am. Have you been frustrated? Sure. Have you been like, oh man, like I want to be here, or you should be, but you can't blame that. And you have to step back and realize and look at yourself from an outside perspective, which is something you have to learn to do. And I learned to do that, you know, years ago. And it's made me smarter. It's made me better. Never bitter about it because it's like I'll get to where I need to get to when I need to get there, you know? And when I get these accomplishments like the PWI, that validates what I'm doing. Like that, I'm like, Darius, you're doing the right thing. Like, okay, you're not signed, and okay, people are telling me all the time. It's like, oh, Carter, why aren't you here? Why aren't you there? It's like, listen, that's obviously not me to answer, not my place to answer, or else I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the one who's administering the contracts. I'm not the one who's going through the videos. I think some people haven't seen my work. I have other people may have opinions of me from the past and haven't updated themselves on what I do now. There's a few reasons, but one reason I know it's not is my talent. It's not my talent. It's not my ability. And I say that as humbly as possible. I know that I'm good enough for anywhere, to be booked anywhere, to have a contract anywhere. So it's not the talent that's stopping me. It's other things, and it'll come to be when it needs to be.
Hmm. Let's talk about intergender wrestling. I have
Ah,
my list because what I find intriguing about you, I mean, there's many things that are intriguing about Darius Carter, but one thing, you have a lot of intergender matches under your belt. I'm just going to run a few names: Soraya Knight, Sue
mm,
Young,
mm.
Jordan Grace, Brooke Danielle, Kimberly, Mia Yim, Corinne Mink, and Mercedes Martinez, who you just mentioned. What is it about intergender wrestling that compels you to actually do it, to be in a match with women of these caliber?
It's the hustle and the drive, and I think I not accidentally showed it, but it just kind of, like when I was talking about the women that are traveling and were making a name for themselves before they got signed or anything like that. You know, Mercedes now in WWE, but she went around before she signed anything. Killer Kelly, Deanna is a great example because now she's a Knockouts Women's Champion. She was looking for that title somewhere. And I know, I'm not best friends with her, but I've uh, uh, met with her and been in her company and communicated and conversed with her, and I could tell that that means something to her. Those championships mean something. It's not a prop. It's not something you just, oh, look, three-time champion, smiley face. Like, she really cares. It means so much to her. I know it does, and she carries it with pride. I watch, and that type of thing, like, it's that pride, it's that hustle, and I feel like those women, they have it. And I'm not saying men don't have it, because they do. And listen, I love to wrestle whoever, is really the message I'm trying to send. I'm not only privy to wrestling women. I'm not only privy to wrestling men. I'm not only privy to wrestling non-binary. It doesn't matter. I'm not privy to one particular type of thing. I'll wrestle anybody anywhere, and I think that's the point I'm looking to make, that you can put Darius Carter in there with anybody, and make it work. And again, Kimberly, Jordan Grace, they're very tough wrestlers. They're tough people. So they're tougher than a good portion of the men that I've competed with. So it's not, um, it's not sectioned off. It's not segregated to me. I understand how some people, oh, I don't want to hit a woman or this and that. But it's like, listen, at the end of the day, to me, if you're a wrestler, you're a wrestler. And if you are deciding to put on your ring gear and do this, then you've decided that this is what you want to do with your life. And you are going to encounter people of the opposite sex in a competitive field. I think that's just the way that it is. And it makes sense in pro wrestling. So, like I said, a lot of those women, Mercedes Martinez, one of the best wrestlers I've ever been in there with, man, woman, or child. She was tremendous. So to me, it's not mutually exclusive. It's a gift to wrestle in that ring, no matter who your opponent is. I just think that I'm more open to it. I think that it's unique. I think that there's different matches that I've been able to do, like Holiday was a different type of match that I was able to do than Saraya Knight, where we were able to do a lot of technical wrestling, which, sometimes you want to do that with the guys, and the guys don't want to wrestle like that. They want to jump, they want to fly, they want to run. And it's like, okay, cool. but I want to put you in an armbar, and I want to see the crowds, the look on their faces. I want to make people see. That's my thing, is I love to see the look in the fans' face. I love to watch them cringe. I love to watch them like tighten up. Like I I get off on that. I love that. And Soraya, we were able to do that in the way that some guys just don't want to wrestle like that. And then I have to adapt to their style. They don't really have to adapt to mine. I have to adapt to theirs, which is part of my job, as the big boss villain, what have you. But it's wrestling. Wrestling can be selfless and selfish at the same time.
Hmm.
And you have to learn to give and take. And I've given a lot to some people that don't even give you the credit for it. But sometimes I just have to give because they don't want to give. And it's like with women, I feel like generally speaking, they feel like they have more to prove, but it's a more competitive feeling vibe a lot of the times. Again, I'm not saying all the time. I'm not saying women are better than men. I'm just saying that there it can be a difference sometimes in a Kimberly, in a Jordan Grace, in a Holiday, in a Sue Young, that there's not really a male counterpart to that.
Hmm. And you've also recently given to pro wrestling's first ever Kiki Ball. We have to
Mm,
talk about Paris is Bumping,
yes.
the historical event of our time. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that to say it, it really was a historical event. Talk to me about what it was like, first of all, being a part of this event.
Yeah. And I mean, I know what I'm doing, right? So I knew that um, this was going to be historic, and I'm all about history. I mean, my tagline, one of my favorite little things I say: mover, shaker, history maker. Like I've always been in the hustle, and I want to be where the best are. And when I saw that I had the opportunity for Paris is Bumping, and that vote went up on Twitter, and it was like, okay, do you want to see me beat up Darius Carter? Billy Dixon put that out or whatever. And I was like, oh, great. I said, vote for me. I want you to think I think a lot of them were like, oh, he's not going to beat Darius. I'm like, Darius going to come there and kill this guy. But the whole point of it is they voted for me to be there. The community and the fandom, and that was like the integration, the welcoming into that. And that was great. I don't ever just go out there and say, oh, look, I'm an ally, I'm this or that. Like, I don't want to label myself as anything. I just am who I am, and I support who I support. I've always supported the LGBTQ background and movement, and I've had ties to it in my own life, in terms of fraternity. So I'm not. I've never, been bothered by anything like that. And if anything, actually, I've been inspired by a lot of it, artistically speaking. Some of the most artistic individuals you'll see tend to be rather lesbian, gay, what have you, LGBT. It's just the way that it is, and I'm stating it as candidly as possible. So it's great, and it's been inspiring to me. I'm a very artistic person as well. I'm a very theatrical person, so I'm gravitating towards those types of personalities, and that's what I see there. I saw Paris is Bumping as a wrestling event. I saw it as a movie. I saw it as cinematography. I saw it as some of the most divine piece of art that you could do. And I was like, well, I have to be a part of this. So to be on that event, I mean, to see, and again, we're talking about other people that have helped pioneer in different ways, like Eddie McQueen, who deserves his credit, and a lot of the things that he's done behind the scenes. We talk about Sahara 7. So I mean, and Ashton Starr, and Corinne, of course, and Jared Evans, and it was just, and Erica Lee. So there's just the talent was at such a high level, and maybe not everyone is recognized the way that they should be. And I feel like this show helped do that, for Mariah Moreno and for Candy Lee. The energy. I mean, if you watch Paris is Bumping and you didn't feel something, by the end of it, then you have to check your emotions. You have to see, just look in the mirror and look at yourself, and see how you're standing. And I'm just saying that there was something for everybody with Paris is Bumping. There was something for everybody. My match with Billy was totally different than the four-way, which was totally different than Sahara versus Ashton, which was then the promo that we had, Faye Jackson being there and Eric Shorey. I mean, it was it was quite the piece of work, and that can never be taken away from anybody there.
Hmm. What do your friends and family think about your wrestling success and accolades that you've been given over the years?
Yeah, so it's funny because I actually started training shortly after I went to college. So I went to college in September of '08,
Mhm.
and then I started training in November of 2008. So it's kind of hard to tell people that you're going to school and you're looking to get this degree and all these other things. And then you're also a pro wrestler because they're immediately going to think the pro wrestling gets in the way. So and I'm honestly a private person in terms of my endeavors and what I and how I go about my business. Um, it's just something people. It's just not necessary,
Mhm.
and people are just looking to see a reason to bring you down. So I just hustle and do my thing and just make what I got to make happen. And then, like I said, those results will speak for it. And then I come on interviews and podcasts and explain it. So it's the circle of life, and it moves us all. So
Lion King reference.
all right
Okay.
now, Scar is a legend. Scar is a legend. But yeah, it's just the hustle, and my family is a lot more aware of it now because my success is becoming more so. It's like, and then you see me on Instagram and stuff like that. So that's and my mother has me on Instagram, which is funny enough. She didn't use. She's not a Twitter person. She's not Facebook, but she has the Instagram. So
Huh?
that's yeah. So I have a lot of family that uses the Instagram. So I was late to the Instagram party, very much so.
Mhm.
But once I got on there, it was like, all right, I have a lot of family on Instagram. I thought they were all on Facebook, and they are, but Instagram was really the big, I think, push for the family. And I don't really just go. I don't go to the dinner table and talk about it, and we all meet. It's not something I really discuss unless it needs to be discussed with me because it's just good to be with family. You don't get to see them as much as you want to anyway. But I when we ask, we talk about it. It is my passion. It is what I want to do, but I also just want to get there. Like I want to get on TV and do those things, and then that's when if we want to talk about it, then I just want to make my moves and get to where I want to be. I don't just lay it out on the table and try to make it the conversation piece. Like I am who I am. You know who I am. You know that I wrestle. If you have questions, by all means ask. But I need to get to where I need to get to, and then we'll do what we need to do from there. If that all makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense. Was there a match that your mom saw you in and she was horrified
Oh,
at just the intensity of it?
that's funny. I mean, she hasn't been to a show,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I mean, I know she when I was younger. Yeah, because when I was younger and I was all into amateur wrestling and wanted to join the team and stuff, and you know, she wasn't a fan of it. And the cauliflower and that's what was really her thing is like the mats and everything like that. And she's right. I mean, obviously when you're young, you're not thinking about it, but she was right. I mean, she wanted to. And the thing is too with wrestling is once you get into that, you're traveling and this and that, and I think that she really academics were very important to me,
Mhm.
and academics were important to her. My mom was in a Fortune 500 company. She was working for a Fortune 500 company when she was 19. Let's put it that way. So my mom is a hustler, and it was not about not letting her down because I always wanted to do it for me, but I was always an academic person. I was raised on academics, so I never questioned academics. So if I had to choose academics over joining a team, I would have chosen academics, just because I wanted to make sure that was right first. I'm one of those people that likes to do finish one lane or complete one lane before I open another, and not, well, maybe not finish, but you know what I mean. Like I want to see it through. I want um, to go through that as best I can and make sure it's getting my full attention. So academics was important, and that got helped get me to where I am and got me through to college on scholarships and everything like that. So, to get the degree and get everything that I needed out of that, I set that up for myself while I was wrestling, which a lot of people don't know about me. So I was training while I was going to college. You know what I mean? All right, here's a college class, and then all right, off to the training school or off to here, off to there. I hustled my own way. And I don't, again, I don't shout about it, and maybe I should write a book and do all these things, but it's like everyone has their story of like, oh, I had to sacrifice. I don't want to be a sacrifice story. I know everybody's saying the same thing in a different way. But for me, I just want my hustle to show for it. And I did go through a lot of different things to get here, to go to college and to study for exams and then to go off to training and really taking college seriously. It's not like, oh, I took one or two courses. It was like I'm doing the full curriculum while also fitting in training where I can, while also fitting in shows, while also fitting in being a teenager that was 18, 19, that wanted to enjoy the college life and the experience, that was living on campus and doing all these other things. Like I had a lot going on, but that's what makes life fun for me, is that zest, like to have all these different avenues, So when I say like see having different avenues, like I like to see it through, like I like to commit myself to it. I don't want to just have 17 branches getting 17 different pieces of me. You're getting the full Darius experience with all works that I'm invested in. So college I was doing great in college while I was doing great at training, doing this and that, and it all paid off. And that's what I mean. I reflect, I look back, and I'm grateful because I know I have so much more to accomplish, but I'm grateful for what I've accomplished now because I have come far. I have done a lot. And I need to appreciate that and respect that. And we need to do that for ourselves. We need to respect us, not bragging on ourselves, but it's look what we did. Like, we're doing all right. Like we're doing it. You gotta have a little bit of, yeah, you gotta just like every now and again, like you gotta, it's funny because I watched the Bailey Chronicle. Okay.
Yeah, same.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and I love Bailey. I think she's the best women's wrestler in the world overall right now. So when when I saw her chronicle and I saw her write the letter to herself, I was like, oh, like that really touched me. Like that's not something that I would do, but like I get it 110%. And like, something doesn't have to be your style or way for you to completely empathize with it. You know what I mean? You can empathize with a love story even if you wouldn't make the same decisions that those people made, because it's how they got there. And for her, when she wrote that, like just her writing to herself, it really touched me. Like I was like, oh man. And she's like, dear Pam, and just like, you did it, you made it. And she was like tearing up, and I was like, like it was really getting in my strings. And like I love that. And like that's something that I do, like mentally. I mentally check myself. Like I'll meditate and I'll sit and I'll like ruminate on like, okay, like just sit in your mind and in your body, a still body and a moving mind. And it's just like, let's converse with myself. Let's communicate with myself. And those times you get to sit and do it and really appreciate it. And I space out the meditation, but it's like it's good and it's soothing and it's healing, and it just allows you to step back and to put things in perspective. Sometimes you don't give yourself that time, as we said before, and for me that's so important, to sit down, to look at myself and be like, here's where you are and here's where you need to go. And you need to check yourself. Because the only one who can really wreck you is you. The only one who can take you down is you. Your ambition, all the things I've been said, I could blame other people. I could blame other people for hating me and kicking dirt, but that's what people are gonna do. That's what you know what I mean? I think of the Little Wayne line, and he goes, I couldn't blame Tammy. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
Tammy's gonna be Tammy. Um, but all I'm saying is like people are gonna be what people. So you can't blaming them is the easy way. You got to look in yourself. You got to make it happen, and that's it.
Hmm. Did 2020 change the perception that you have of yourself, not just as a wrestler, but as a person in any way?
Mm. I would say 2020's definitely adjusted my mindset. I don't know if I want to say change because my mindset was already a certain way. See, what I wanted to do in 2020 was travel. A lot of my plans this year was to try to get out to, to UK and in different parts of UK, but to do another UK tour because I hadn't done one since 2018. I did one in 2017 and 2018, and I was, looking to do one um, over the past couple years, but it kind of got jumbled because it's a long tour. It's all right. It's like 2 weeks or what have you. So, it would get jumbled, what have you. But this was the year I was supposed to have one of those. And there were some other places that I was actually lining up. I was looking to get out to a Germany. I was looking to get out and just get that different flavor and get that different taste, and like Canada. And obviously, with the COVID restrictions, that made that pretty much impossible. So I had to focus in on the places that I could wrestle. And I was like, okay, well, I can do the Warriors, and okay, Pro Wrestling Magic, who I returned there last November. So the timing worked out because they only had maybe 2 shows, 3 shows before March. So I was already in their swing of things, and I was like, all right, well, this is the time to step up. And I stepped up in an even greater way, and to the point where it's like, you have to feature me, you have to highlight me, because I'm the one that's going to put you out there, just like you're going to put me out there. And now I'm in the main event tomorrow against Erica Lee. It's actually my first main event with the promotion. So this is what I mean. Like, I had to hone in and harness in on the places that I was at. The grass is green where you are. And 2020 was supposed to be a year of watering other grass. And I shouldn't say watering other grass, but adding to my own resume and proving that I can water grass elsewhere to then come back and harvest on my own to make that all make sense. So
Mm.
that was going to use those experiences to grow myself, and I was not afforded those opportunities this year, so I did something else. And it makes 2021 if interesting, because if travel opens up, great. If it doesn't, well, guess what? I can still keep doing what I'm doing. Going down to Maryland, going down, making some drives. I made some trips to put 2020 together, and I still have some surprises. The year is not over yet, so there's still a debut or two that you're going to see courtesy of Fight TV with Darius Carter before January 1st, before the end of December. That's all I could say for now. So I'm just happy because I had to put the wheels in motion. I had to do this myself. No one's going to do it for you. No one wants to do it for you. Just as you're on here hustling and making things happen, for yourself, when things and situations changed upon us in a quick and sudden manner, beyond just the pandemic, even before that. Um, so yeah, 2020 is totally, just made you appreciate where you stand and make the most of everything even more so. Like, what can you do to get yourself out there? Like, reflecting, introspective. That is what 2020 gave me more of. One of again, the best year statistically of my, really, I gotta say, of my career, to be on the list. I mean, again, you didn't get to wrestle as much as you wanted. Maybe I didn't get to do as much as I did in 2019 in ring wise, but I got to make it all count more in 2020.
Mm. It's been such a pleasure talking with you, Darius. I know it feels like it's been years we
I know it
talked
feels
with
like
each
it's
other
been
in
2 weeks.
person. But thank you so much once again for just being a part of this interview, being so willing, and just an all around amazing person, not just as a wrestler, but as a human being.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
uh,
My last question for you is, and you pretty much alluded to this talking about 2021. What more can we expect for you sprouting into the new year? And also, this is a double question. Is there anyone that you would love to spar in the ring with next year who you've never been in a match with before?
oh, okay. So, uh, two-parter. Let's answer in the order in which it was provided. So firstly, yeah, 2021, I mean, we obviously have to see what my options are. and I have to adapt accordingly, which is what I was able to do. So if travel opens up, I would definitely love to travel to get out there. Again, Germany is on my sights. I would love to do something out there. I'd love to like whether it was WXW or something else. I just want to get that old school touch of the professional wrestling scene, that grappling style, like, and America has it, but the UK too. Like I definitely need to get back out to the UK. I feel like that's a given. You know what I mean? That's almost why I didn't say UK, because that's a given. It's like my second home over there. But and different parts of the UK, Wales and everything like that. But I'd love Germany. I'd love to do something out there. If I could again get to a Canada, that would be great, just to get that seasoning. But uh, Australia, that'd be nice.
Hmm.
Uh, but I do think about Australia. But if I don't have that, that's fine, because other things are opening up and they need someone. They need someone like me. And if I can build places up, that gets remembered. And people are going to see, oh, Darius is here, Darius is there, Darius is here, and he's not there doing these one-off matches. He's not here doing these gimmick matches, whatever. Like, he's ingrained in the promotion. Like, he's building this place up, and that's one thing that I feel is understated with me. I don't just go to a promotion just to get a paycheck and just to shake hands and leave. Like, I want to make places better. I want to build places, because that makes me better. The more places I can put on, the better it makes me look. And the better you are, the better I am, the better everyone involved is. So I love to build and be the foundation, and be the mold, and be the pillars of a place. That's why Catalyst was so important, because I could be a pillar there while I'm also the pillar at BCW, while I'm also the pillar at Warriors of Wrestling, while I'm also the pillar at Pro Wrestling Magic now. Now I'm in the main event on their Fight pay-per-view during a pandemic. This is their first pay-per-view on Fight TV. It's $10, $9.99, and I believe there's still a $1 voucher. So you have $9. Okay, my match with Erica is worth that for the price alone, but you get 7 other matches on top of that. So it's like this. It's a no-brainer. You pay it for the network. You pay it for IWTV. Go ahead and get this in this event. Get this on Fight TV. Myself versus Erica Lee. Pro Wrestling Magic card subject to change. So these are the types of things that I'm doing. Everywhere I go, you see me popping up all the time. You see me on Twitter, you see Pro Wrestling Magic, you see what's going on. So that's what 2021 is about for me. In terms of who I'd want to get in there with, I mean, again, I'm not a huge dream match person, because I would just want to wrestle everyone. But if I could get one person, it would be Mako Satomura. If
Hmm.
if I could get Mako, oh man, from Japan, and oh, that match would just be bananas. And it's funny, because like I saw Mercedes wrestle her, and I'm like, that match was like my favorite of that whole of the Mae Young Classic, that second one. So that would be it for me. Mako Satomura. I like I said, I'd wrestle anybody. Um, I am interested in the clashing of styles. I think her style being so hard hitting, her being so quick and sudden, I like those, because all right, if I get hit by something, I learn. If you hit me with something really quick, like, that's something that you think about after the match. You're like, oh, like, I saw how that person hit the ropes. Like, I saw how that person ran. Like, I saw how that person ducked and jumped. That's why they caught me, because I didn't see it coming. That's how a learning experience for me. And I know that she would land some stuff on me. So I know that I would come back in the locker room, and I do that a lot. I always come back to the locker room and think. I don't just like come back and like, oh, I love the match, great match, and then like sit down and like put my gear back on. I'm smiling the whole time. That's not really me. Like, I always sit down and I'm like, thinking to I replay the match in my head. I like to kind of be in my own space, and I'm like, okay, like, and I replay everything like from beginning to end, and like I'm like, if I don't remember it, then it's a problem. So I'm always trying to play the whole match back, like, okay, how did I run off the ropes here? How did I step here? How did I duck that? Okay, like, I could have ducked this. Like, I'm very, very critical of myself. I'm my own biggest critic, and I know that's something that people say a lot, but I don't think some people criticize themselves the way that they think they do. I think some people are just like, okay, like, that wasn't like that was good or that was bad, but they don't really learn from it, you know. And for me, like every time I step in the ring is a literal learning experience. Like I'm always trying to come up with something different, you know, which is I guess surprises people because I'm so old school. I have such an old soul, but like I'm a very innovative old school person. I'm a very creative old school. Old school doesn't mean tart, bland, and dry. You know, old school means you're adaptable, you're malleable, you know, you're well rooted, which means anything that gets planted, you can find out the recipe. Like that's what it's about for me. So I just want to wrestle people that are different. You know, in Mexico, I'd love to do something there. Like I just want to wrestle different styles and be the most seasoned wrestler that I can be, so that when my time comes and when you call that phone number, like I am more prepared than I've ever been. That's what it's about.
Hmm. Darius Carter, the All Father of Wrestling. Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me talk. I love a open forum, you know, so it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Darius.
All right now. And by the way, you can find me uh uh I guess I should plug this stuff, right? Should I plug
Of
anything?
course. That's what
Okay, great. So you can find me on you should I'm asking if I can plug something. No, but Facebook .com/, Mr. Darius Carter, Instagram, Twitter, all /, Mr. Darius Carter. So it's very easy to find. And then I have a fan page on Facebook, which is /Wrestling Switches Prize, which is kind of like the backdoor spot where it's just like, all right, like I'll post some stuff there that I don't always post, just different things. Sometimes it's introspectives on myself, my career, little tidbits, but I try to make that page a little different in its own way. But yeah, they're all there. So, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Mr. Darius Carter, and that is it.